Let me tell you something, and you can take this however you want, but the day the president of the Eagle Ridge HOA tried to steal my snow machine was the day I learned that petty power, when it falls into the wrong hands, is a hell of a drug. You think that's dramatic? Just wait. Picture this. I'm halfway down Eagle Ridge Trail, the lights fading, my breath is a cloud inside my helmet. And there, standing dead center of the path in a blindingly pink parka, stands Patricia Henderson. She's got her hand up like she's directing traffic on Fifth Avenue. Only she's blocking me, in the middle of a Montana winter, on a trail I've ridden for 15 years. And behind her, two guys in neon vests stamped HOA security, like that means anything out here. Vincent Dalton, you stop that machine right now, she shrills. You ever have one of those moments where you know, deep down, you should just ignore the crazy and move along? Yeah, well, I didn't. Maybe I was too tired, maybe I was too stubborn, or maybe, just maybe, I was getting real sick of Patricia. I throttle down, kick up a little snow at her boots, because hey, I'm human, and pull off my helmet. What's the problem now, Patricia? My ears are stinging from the cold, but her voice is worse. She comes stomping through the snow, looking like an angry marshmallow, shouting about trespassing and community property and exclusive HOA privileges. You're not a member, Mr. Dalton. You have no right to use this trail. Let me back up a sec. I've lived out here, just outside Whitefish, Montana, for going on 16 years. Bought my 40 acres before the subdivisions, before the luxury builds, before Patricia and her type started telling everyone how high their mailbox should be and what shade of white was acceptable for Christmas lights. You know what I mean? Out here, we used to mind our own business. The only rules were don't burn the forest down and wave at your neighbors. Patricia? She doesn't wave. She lectures. The security guys, Derek and Timothy, I'd learn later, are looking anywhere but at me, but she's got them by the short hairs. Section 12, paragraph 4. She says, like she's reciting a magic spell. We can confiscate any property used in violation of community rules. She's got the sheriff's department on speed dial, her phone waving in my face. I tell her, plain as day, that trail marker? Montana State Trail Designation 847B. This is a public trail. She doesn't care. Ancient and meaningless, she says. This is HOA land now. You ever argue with someone who's already decided what's true? Feels like trying to nail Jell-O to a wall. I wish I could say I played it cool, but honestly, I was done. You want to call the sheriff, Patricia? Go ahead. I'd love to see how you explain blocking a state trail. The guards try to talk her down, but Patricia's on a mission. She tells Derek to get the truck? Yeah, they brought a truck and ramps, just in case. Like they planned on stealing something tonight. Now, here's where a smarter man might have gunned it and sprayed her with snow, left her squawking and sputtering. But the part of me that's gotten older, not necessarily wiser, wins out. I kill the engine. Take it, I tell her. But you're going to regret this. She grins. Actually grins. Tells me maybe now I'll learn to respect the rules. It's funny now, wasn't then. They load my machine up. Patricia supervises, taking pictures, jotting notes, acting like she's starring in her own reality show. You can have it back, she says, when you pay the fines and sign an agreement not to trespass again. That'll be $1,300 to start, plus $100 a day. I walk 5 miles. In the dark. I can't feel my feet by the time I get home. You ever get so mad you start laughing? That was me, limping into my cabin, kicking off boots, and calling Marcus Reeves, my lawyer. I pour myself the world's strongest coffee and lay it all out. Marcus doesn't interrupt, just types. First thing tomorrow, I'm filing for a restraining order and demand for return of your property. This is theft, plain and simple. HOAs can't seize personal property, no matter what their little rulebook says. Now here's the twist. Marcus asks about the trail. Turns out, there's more to this than Patricia's power trip. That trail? It's been a state-designated public easement since 1998. The HOA can't restrict it, can't charge for it, and definitely can't stop me. Especially since, according to my original survey, the trail runs along my northern boundary. Marcus asks for the survey, and I spend half the night digging through dusty boxes in my spare room until I find it. The next morning, he's already got a surveyor lined up, and by 8:01, he's at the courthouse filing paperwork. The HOA, suddenly realizing they've gone a step too far, starts backpedaling. First, I get a call from a Sharon Vance, HOA board member, cool-headed, professional, offering to resolve things amicably. I tell her where she can stick her amicable solution unless it comes with an apology and my property returned. Next, Marcus tells me the judge has granted the restraining order and the HOA's got till 5 p.m. to return my snow machine or face contempt charges. Cue Patricia, calling me in a rage. You made a fool of me in front of the entire board, she wails. All I can do is laugh. You did that yourself, I say. When I pick up my snow machine, Derek apologizes. I told her it was a bad idea, he mutters. Not your fault, I tell him. You were just following orders. Classic line. But what else do you say? But here's where the story really flips. The surveyors finish up, all GPS and laser beams. And it turns out, surprise, surprise, the trail isn't just along my property. It's completely on my property for more than half a mile. That old meets and bounds description on the 2008 survey was off. The actual boundary is farther north. My land, my trail. And because of the easement, I can't close the trail, but I do have rights about how it's maintained and used. Marcus smells blood in the water. We're pivoting to a fence, he says. A formal letter goes out, apology, compensation, and a permanent cease and desist from the HOA. They squirm, they stall, they lawyer up, try to threaten adverse possession, but Marcus eats them for breakfast. Friday afternoon, they settle for $1,000, written apologies, and a formal notification to all residents that the HOA has no authority over the trail. But the damage is done. Word gets out. Homeowners realize they've been paying trail maintenance fees for years on a trail the HOA doesn't even own. That's $15,000 a year for 3 years, and only $5,000 of it ever went to actual maintenance. The rest? Patricia's administrative costs. At an emergency HOA meeting, the community revolts. Patricia doesn't even show up. By the end of the night, she's out as president, and a full forensic audit is underway. And you want irony? The money the HOA used to pay my settlement came straight from that maintenance fund. Embezzlement, anyone? Detective Ramirez from the sheriff's office calls a few weeks later. Turns out Patricia's been treating the HOA's bank account like her personal piggy bank for years. Fake vendors, inflated costs, the works. When they finally arrest her, I watch the news footage of her in handcuffs with a strange mix of relief and, I'll admit, a little pity. The trial is a circus. I testify, so do a half-dozen other homeowners. The evidence is overwhelming. Jury's out for less than 4 hours, guilty on all counts. Patricia gets 3 years in federal prison, has to pay everything back, and she's barred from ever serving on an HOA board again. That last one probably stings the most. The HOA is a different beast now. They hire a real management company, refund those bogus fees, and ask me for input on trail maintenance. Imagine that. Sharon Vance brings me a check and a thank you letter, says, "You're part of this community whether you're a member or not." The folks who used to glare at me when I rode past now wave. The air feels lighter. Justice, for once, actually feels real. But here's the kicker. The question that sticks with me, and maybe it'll stick with you too. If I hadn't stood up, if I'd just paid Patricia her $1,300 and taken the long way around, would any of this have come to light? How many people out there are still getting steamrolled by little tyrants in shiny parkas, waving rulebooks like weapons? How many times does authority go unchecked because it's easier to go along than fight back? So, let me ask you, where's the line for you? When is it worth standing your ground, even if you're standing alone? Maybe you've tangled with an HOA, or maybe your story's about something else. Bad bosses, overreaching officials, you name it. I want to hear it. Share your take. What's justice mean to you? What's right? What's wrong? And where do you draw the line? Because at the end of the day, standing up for yourself isn't just about your own fight. It's about reminding everyone else that authority only matters if it's earned. Sometimes, the trail really does belong to the little guy. And sometimes, just sometimes, the little guy wins. Drop your thoughts below. Let's see where you stand.